Hi everyone, welcome to this Vinyasa flow class. We're going to get started straight away at the back of our mat in child's pose. So coming to a nice comfortable child's pose position, your choice as to whether you have the knees together or wide apart, whichever feels nicer on the lower back. Just starting to bring your attention to your breathing. In and out through the nose, and just allowing the sitting bones to sink back to the heels as much as you can. Maybe seeing if you can walk the fingertips a little bit further forward on your next exhale. So finding space in the back of the body. Just giving yourself a moment or two here to arrive into your space. Check in with the body, notice how you're feeling. Any areas that might need a little bit of extra care as we move through the practice today. And just starting to allow your awareness to come only to your breath. And taking a few more moments here, finding that nice steady rhythm of breath and seeing if you can hold on to that as we move through the practice. And then on your next inhale, just slowly looking up towards the hands. We're going to make our way through all fours and just start by taking some big hip circles here. So just setting your alignment, wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hip points. Then we're going to send the hips all the way over to the right. Sink back to the heels as if you're coming through child's pose, and then move the hips to the left. So just keeping this going with the breath. Some nice big hip circles getting into the back of the body. Notice how the hips are feeling, any stiffness or achiness. Just trying to keep this motion nice and fluid. Maybe reversing the circle if you haven't already. Just starting to mobilize through the spine, easing into the back of the body. Taking one more circle here. And then we'll sink all the way back to the heels, coming back into your child's pose. Trying to find a little bit more length into the back of the body. On your next inhale, looking up towards the hands, we'll come back through all fours and just take a few rounds of cat-cow here. So inhale to drop the belly, draw the shoulders back, looking up. Exhale, pushing through the palms, rounding through the spine, looking back behind you. Inhale to drop the belly, draw the shoulders back, looking forward. Exhale to round through the spine. Inhale, see if you can draw the chest through the shoulders a little bit more, and then exhale, draw the shoulder blades apart. Inhale, coming back through center now. We're going to come down onto the forearms, so elbows directly underneath the shoulders if you can. And then same motion here, so inhale, dropping the belly, draw the shoulders back, look forward. Exhale, push through the forearms, round through the spine, so try not to collapse into the chest. Keeping this going with the breath, just opening through the chest as we come forward, rounding through the spine as we look back behind us. Keeping this going a few more rounds. Noticing how this feels in the back of the body, maybe slightly different down onto the forearms. Finding a little bit more work through the shoulders. On your next inhale, slowly coming back through center, find that nice flat back position. And then from here, we're going to extend the right leg back, flexing the toes down towards the floor. So really try and focus on keeping the forearms really pressing down into the mat. So you're drawing the shoulder blades away from each other. Try not to allow them to collapse inwards. We really want to strengthen through the tops of the arms. Bring that knee back in. We're just going to take the same thing on the other side. So extending the left leg back, flex the toes down towards the floor to square off the hips. Keep drawing the shoulders back so the chest stays nice and open. Keep the breath going. And then exhale, bring that left knee in to meet the right. This time we're going to extend that right leg back again, this time bending the knee so the toes point up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, we're going to draw knee to nose, round through the spine. Inhale, point the toes up, bending at the knee, open through the chest. Exhale, knee to nose, rounding through the spine. Inhale, pointing those toes up, draw the shoulders back. Exhale, rounding in. This time, inhale, find that openness in the chest, point the toes up, and then take baby pulses with the back leg. So just really small motion with the back leg. Try to keep the hips nice and steady. Keep drawing the shoulders back, really pushing into the forearms. So again, we're being mindful of the chest here, try not to collapse. And then exhale, we'll bring that right knee all the way in to meet the right and take the same thing on the other side. So inhale, left knee bends as you raise the left toes up towards the ceiling. Exhale, round through the spine, nose to knee. Inhale, pointing the toes up, bending the knee. Exhale, rounding through the spine. Inhale, opening the chest, lifting that leg up high. Exhale, rounding in. Inhale, last one, lifting up high, open through the chest. Exhale, squeezing in, knee to nose. Inhale, this time lifting up, finding those baby pulses with the left leg. So as if you're trying to tap the toes up towards the ceiling. Try to keep the hips nice and steady. Push into the forearms, draw the shoulders back. A few more rounds of breath here. Keep it going, nice, smooth, deep breaths. Exhale, bring the left knee down to meet the right. From here, stay strong into the forearms, curl the back toes under, lift the hips up high so the knees come off the mat. We're in Dolphin pose. Breathe strong into the arms, either staying here if it's enough, or inhale, raise the right leg up towards the sky. Stay strong into the forearms, maybe see if you can take some baby hops with that left foot. So maybe finding a little bit of a balance onto the forearms, or just seeing what it feels like to take the weight into the arms. We'll take the same thing on the other side. So lifting that left leg up high, maybe taking baby hops with the right foot. Seeing if you can shift the weight forward slightly. And then exhale, drop the left foot down to meet the right. From here, we're going to walk the feet all the way back until we drop the hips in line with the rest of the body, coming into our forearm plank. Exhale, drop the hips all the way down, Sphinx pose, draw the shoulders back, lift up through the crown of the head, find openness in the chest. One more breath. And then slowly slide the hands back until the wrists come underneath the elbows. Draw the elbows in towards the sides of the body and then push up onto the hands and the tops of the feet, coming into our upward facing dog. Exhale, flip the toes, come up and back into your downward facing dog, lifting the hips up high. Strong into the arms, we'll inhale, raise the right leg up towards the sky, three-legged dog. Bend into the knee, look towards the top of the hands, step forward, coming into our Warrior One. So we're dropping the left sole of the foot down towards the floor, lifting the arms up high. Try to keep pulling that right hip back so the hips are in line. Stay really strong into the legs, so outer edge of the back foot is strong into the mat. As you exhale, hands come to interlace behind the lower back. Push the fist down towards the floor, drawing the shoulder blades back. And then exhale, start to fold forward, finding your humble warrior. Try to keep the back foot strong into the mat. Maybe see if you can lift the arms up and overhead, finding a little bit of space to open through the shoulders. Keep that nice bend into the right knee. Keep the breath steady. On your next inhale, we're going to raise up just halfway and send the fingertips towards the back of the room. So keep reaching the arms back, find that nice straight line with the body. Crown of the head extends forward. Exhale, hands come down to frame that front foot. We're going to pull the right hip back, so we're coming into our pyramid pose. So a little bit of a stretch into the hamstring here, so you can keep a micro bend into the knee if you need to. Otherwise, maybe finding space to fold in a little bit further, and if you're very open in the hamstrings, maybe taking your gaze towards the toes rather than allowing the head to fold in. So taking whichever option, whichever variation works for you. On your next inhale, maybe see if you can lift up a little bit higher. And if you'd like to go a little bit further, pulling the toes back towards you. So finding a little bit more of a deeper stretch. So you're coming up onto the heel of that right foot. Keep drawing the shoulders back, the chest is open, strong into the outer edge of that back foot. And then from here, bending into that front knee. We'll keep the right hand down on the outer edge of the foot, raise the left hand up, coming into an extended side angle. Outer edge of the left foot is still strong into the mat. Try and stack the shoulders here. Maybe take the gaze up towards the top thumb if you feel quite steady. As you inhale, push into the sole of the right foot, we're coming up into our Warrior Two. So try and sink down into that front knee. Relax the shoulders. Keep the breath going. Tuck the tailbone down towards the floor and draw the belly in. As you exhale, either come back into that extended side angle, hand onto the floor, or maybe this time taking a bind, so right arm wraps underneath the right thigh. Left hand comes behind the back, grabbing onto the top, or maybe reaching towards the fingertips. See if you can peel back with the left shoulder, opening through the chest, finding that nice straight line with the body. Keep the breath going. And then inhale, we'll release the bind, coming all the way back up into our Warrior Two. Relax the shoulders, we'll bring the left hand to meet the right, lifting the back heel, we're back into our high lunge. Draw the inner thighs together, maybe lifting the front heel off the mat if you want a little bit more of a challenge, firing up through the legs. Keep relaxing the shoulders, draw the belly in. And then releasing that right heel back down towards the floor. Hands come down to frame the front foot. We're going to extend the right leg all the way back up into our three-legged dog. Strong into the arms here. On your next inhale, lift your left heel off the floor. Keep that right leg lifted. Breathe. As you exhale, left knee comes down to the floor. Right leg keeps extending back. Bend into the top knee, coming into tiger pose. Toes face up towards the sky. Draw the shoulders back. Exhale, tuck the back toes under, lift back up into your three-legged dog. Keep strong into the arms. From here, we're going to bring the right leg over towards the left side of the mat, looping it underneath the left leg. So we're on the outer edge of the foot. Root down through the right hand and reach the left hand up towards the sky. Fall in triangle pose, so looking up towards the top thumb if you feel steady. Try and stack the shoulders here. Keep the breath going. Use the breath to help you see if you can draw the belly in a little bit more. Exhale, bring that left hand down and just step the right foot back to your downward facing dog. Take a breath or two here, pedaling through the feet, bending through the knees, walking out through the heels, maybe noticing how this feels on one side compared to the other. And then inhale, we'll raise that left leg up to the sky, three-legged dog. Flex the toes down towards the floor, squaring off the hip. On your next inhale, we'll look up to the top of the mat, step that left foot all the way up in between the hands. So we're coming into our warrior one position once again. Sole of the back foot comes down towards the floor, draw the shoulders back, keep that bend into the left knee, and then inhale, raise the arms all the way up, relaxing the shoulders down. Keep that left hip pulling back, and outer edge of the right foot is really strong into the mat. So try not to collapse all of the weight into the front foot. From here, we'll bring the fingertips behind the back of the body, interlacing the hands once again. This time, maybe seeing if you can bring the opposite thumb on top, so the one that feels a little bit strange. As you exhale, start to fold forward, raising the arms up and overhead as you do, coming into our humble warrior. Both feet really strong into the mat, so imagine you're trying to draw the feet together to keep you really nice and stable. Try not to lean the chest onto that left thigh, so come on the inside of the leg if you can, but keep that nice bend into the knee. One more breath here. And then on your next inhale, we're lifting up just halfway, finding a straight line with the body, sending the fist towards the back of the room, drawing the shoulder blades onto the back a little bit more, extending the crown of the head forward. Exhale, release the hands or fingertips down towards the floor, framing the front foot, and then pull the left hip back, coming into our pyramid pose on this side. Allowing the spine to round, the head to drop. Or maybe taking your gaze towards the toes if you feel quite open in this side. Outer edge of the back foot is strong into the mat. And we keep drawing the shoulders back, so try not to collapse into the front of the body. On your next inhale, raising up onto the fingertips, straightening through the spine, finding that flat back. And either staying here or pulling the toes back towards you. So finding a little bit of a deeper stretch coming up onto that left heel. Keep the chest nice and open, so keep the gaze forward. One more breath. And then exhale, release the toes back down towards the floor if you took that option. Bend into the left knee, left hand or fingertips stay on the outer edge of that left foot as we reach the right hand up. Again, trying to stack the shoulders, keep that left knee in line with the first toe of the left foot, so notice if the knee is starting to collapse inwards. Keep the gaze up towards the top thumb if you feel nice and steady. Otherwise, gaze can be softly down towards the floor. On your next inhale, rise all the way up into your warrior two, keeping that bend into the left knee. Relax the shoulders, gazes over the middle finger of the left hand. And then from here, either coming back into your extended side angle, or we'll make our way into our bind. So this time bringing the left hand underneath the left leg. Right arm wraps behind the back, maybe catching onto the top or maybe onto the fingertips. Try and peel back with that right shoulder. Taking the gaze up towards the sky or maybe towards the back of the mat. Keep the breath steady, keep both feet strong into the floor. One more breath. And then inhale to unravel the arms, come back into your warrior two, keeping that bend into the front knee. Spin off the back heel, reach the right hand up to meet the left, coming back into our high lunge. Draw the left hip back, bending into that front knee. Keep the breath steady. Maybe lift that front heel if you took that option on the other side. Noticing how this feels in the legs. Try and fire up through the thighs. Exhale, bring the left heel down, bring the hands down and send that left leg all the way back up into our three-legged dog. Strong into the arms, we'll lift that right heel off the floor, lifting that left leg up nice and high. From here, keeping the right heel lifted, we're going to drop the right knee down towards the floor. Keep that left leg extending back and then bend into the knee, pointing the toes up towards the sky. Maybe draw the shoulders back, find a little bit of a back bend. Inhale, tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee up, coming all the way back up into our three-legged dog. Transitioning into our fallen triangle now, we'll bring the left leg all the way underneath the right. Coming onto the outer edge of that left foot, reach the right hand up to the sky. See if you can stack the shoulders, take the gaze up, really strong into that left hand. Keep the breath steady, and then exhale, right hand comes down. Step the left foot back, this time to plank pose and move through your vinyasa, knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Inhale to your back bend, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a little pedal through the feet, bend through the knees. Take a moment to ease back into your pose. Finding your breath here. And then inhale, raise that right leg back up to the sky, three-legged dog. One breath. And then looking between the hands, we're going to tap the right knee to the right elbow. As you exhale, you're going to slide the right knee down towards the wrist just to hover above the mat. Inhale, slide the knee up to the elbow. Exhale, bring it down to the wrist. Inhale, knee to elbow. Exhale to the wrist. Inhale, knee to elbow, last one. Exhale, bring the right knee all the way behind the right wrist, this time right ankle towards the left wrist. So setting up for pigeon pose on this side. So just extending that left leg back behind you, walk the fingertips back to straighten through the spine. And then exhale, start to come forward, maybe down onto forearms, or maybe extending the arms all the way forward, allowing the head to drop. Just make sure you're even on both sides of the hips, so try not to sway over towards the right side. And keep flexing the toes back of that right foot so we're protecting the knee. And tuning in with your breath, so maybe with each exhale, finding a little bit more space to sink into your stretch. Noticing how it feels to soften into the body, releasing through that gripping and holding of the muscles. Take one more breath. And then inhale, slowly start to walk the hands back, straightening through the spine. From here, we're going to roll over onto our right side and just swing the left leg round and come straight up into boat pose. So leaning back, finding that engagement of the core muscles. Coming into whichever variation you like to, so feet can still be on the floor, maybe shins come parallel with the mat, or maybe starting to extend the legs. Hands can be forward or resting behind the backs of the thighs, or if you want a little bit more of a challenge, maybe raising the arms up, but try not to round through the spine, so keep the belly drawing in. Relax the shoulders, keep your breath nice and steady, so use it to help you. And then from here, hands come behind the backs of the thighs. We're going to take a roll onto the back, doing a little bit of a transition. As you roll back, cross the shins, come back forward onto the outer edges of the feet. Hands come down, step or hop back to plank and move through a vinyasa, all meeting up in downward facing dog. So if you didn't quite catch that transition, don't worry, we are about to come into it on the other side. Otherwise, feel free to pause and rewind the video if you want to give it another go. Otherwise, we'll inhale, raise the left leg up to the sky, coming into our three-legged dog on this side, strong into the hands. Look towards the top of the mat, tap left knee to left elbow. Exhale, slide the knee down towards the wrist to hover above the mat. Inhale, squeezing with the core, lift it back up. Exhale, slide down to the wrist. Inhale, lift the knee back up. Exhale, hovering above the floor. Inhale, lift back up, and then exhale, left knee behind left wrist onto the mat. Left ankle towards right wrist. So we're coming into our pigeon pose on the other side. So again, just taking a moment to straighten through the spine, walking the fingertips back towards you. As you exhale, start to fold down or stay where you are. So you can stay with the crown of the head lifted or come down onto forearms, maybe walking the hands a little bit further forward if you like that option. Again, just make sure you're flexing the left toes back towards the knee so we're protecting that knee. And then trying to stay nice and even with the hips so we're not leaning over onto the left side. Using your breath here to sink down into the pose a little bit more if you can. Finding that ease, that softness with every exhale. Maybe just noticing any differences on this side compared to the other. It's quite common that we have one side a little bit tighter. So just noticing if that's the case for you. Taking one more breath. And then on your next inhale, slowly lifting the gaze, walking the fingertips back towards you. And then we'll roll onto our left sitting bone this time, swinging the right leg round in front, coming up into our boat pose. So same thing, taking whichever variation of the pose works for you. Just make sure that the spine is nice and tall, so try not to collapse the shoulders forward. Drawing them back, maybe taking that variation, lifting the arms up high. Draw the belly in, so you shouldn't be feeling this in the lower back, so really engaging through the core. Relax the shoulders, keep the breath going, try not to hold the breath. And then exhale, we'll bring the hands down behind the backs of the thighs. We'll take our transition once again. So rocking back, crossing the shins, coming all the way forward onto the outer edges of the feet and stepping or hopping back to plank. Moving through your Vinyasa, knees, chest, chin or chaturanga. Exhale to all meet in downward facing dog. From here, straight away, we'll drop the knees down towards the floor, sinking back to the heels, coming into our child's pose. Rounding through the spine, relaxing the body. Just finding a little bit of rest. So finding a nice natural rhythm of breath. And then whenever you're ready, looking up to the hands, we'll slowly start to walk the hands back towards the body, coming to a kneeling position. And then when you arrive, just swinging the legs to one side so you can come through seated. So making your way there however's comfortable. So coming to a cross-legged position or extending the legs out in front of you, whatever feels nicer for you. Just make sure you can sit up nice and tall, perhaps resting the hands down onto the knees. And then from here, just allowing the left ear to fall down towards the left shoulder. The left arm comes up and over the head just to rest down onto that right ear. And then the right fingertips can walk away from you towards the right side. So feeling a nice stretch into the right side of the neck. Try to keep the left shoulder relaxed. So you're not lifting the shoulder up to the ear. You're trying to release the ear down towards the shoulder. Try to keep even in both sitting bones. And then inhale, we'll take it to the other side. So right ear drops to right shoulder as the right arm comes up and over. It's putting a little bit of pressure down onto that left ear, finding that stretch. Left fingertips can walk away from you over towards the left side. Relax the shoulders down, breathe. Notice how it feels to slow the breath down. On your next inhale, slowly release that stretch, bring the head back through center. And then we'll just interlace the fingers behind the lower back, drawing the shoulders back and drop the chin into the chest. So finding a little bit of an opening through the back of the neck. Just breathing into that stretch there. Inhale, slowly releasing the clasp of the hands, lifting the head up nice and tall. We'll finish with 3 deep breaths. Inhale, raising the arms up and overhead so that the palms touch. Exhale, bring them down in front of the heart center. Inhale, reach the arms up, touch the palms. Exhale, bring them down in front of the chest. Last one. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands come together in front of the heart center to rest. Relax the shoulders and allow the breath to come back to a nice, comfortable rhythm. Do one last scan of the body, noticing how you feel. And then drop the head into the hands. Namaste. Thank you so much for your time and your practice. Have a lovely rest of your day. See you soon.